Hey guys, everybody, welcome. This is Brian Stone. I'm doing a follow-up video following my interview, the video chat I had with Brother Guerrero, Marco. And first of all, I just want to say thanks to Marco for allowing that. I know my topic was a little different from what I've watched a lot of his past videos on, and it really helps me I feel like my mission right now is to learn as much as I can about this, and then share it out with the world. And what is it? It's on learning about what chlorine dioxide is, also called MMS, and then how to use it, especially in the times that are coming up ahead, as we are going to. Well, we know things are going to get more difficult as before things get better. But we have that hope that there's a way. There's a way through it, and we just need to be faithful and do our part, and stay close to the Lord and keep our covenants and things. So I did have some things I wanted to share. Uh, Again, this is a follow up from my video. I noticed I've had some more subscriptions added since the video, and I'm guessing they're related to the topic with chlorine dioxide. I just wanted to clear up any confusion that may have come up in the video. First of all, I don't post my the videos that teach um, about this on my YouTube channel, and I'll tell you why. Mainly, it's because in the past year, a lot of people that do post stuff like this, they've been filtered, they've been censored off of YouTube, um, Twitter, Facebook, and even Vimeo at times. So this was all happening before I started my channel, and before my channel on this topic. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna find somewhere else where I could post it, and that's where I found Brighteon.com and BitChute. I'm also on BitChute. Anyway, so hopefully that makes sense. If you are looking for where to find me, I am at Brighteon.com. My channel name is MMS DIY, and then it also says chlorine dioxide. So I'll quickly show you how that works. If you do happen to go to Brighteon, it's a different spelling, Brighteon.com, and as you open up now, I am not logged in. As you can see, that's not logged in there. Brighteon.com, just a little background. It was started by a guy named Mike Adams. Mike Adams, he also calls himself the Health Ranger. He's a big health food guy, and then he spent a lot of time, and he used to post a lot of videos on YouTube, had his channel, but he spent a lot of time finding out about some of the darker side of what's in our foods, the processed stuff, things like that, and what's really healthy. And so he would publish these things, and then he was, calling out sometimes government agencies, definitely agricultural companies, even pharmaceuticals. And within the past year, all his channels got shut down and kicked out. And so he was pretty bummed about it, but he thought, YouTube really isn't a free speech forum. It's not a free speech place. So he thought, I'm just going to set my own kind of a version of a video channel where people can come in, post their videos. And one of the underlying things that he wanted to push was free speech. But also, he wanted it to be a little cleaner than YouTube. So he has some general rules, and there he says, all right, pornography, let's keep that minimum or keep it out. And then also, don't curse too much. If you're going to curse a lot, they're going to, kick you off, or at least filter your videos out. So I personally like that. And also, BitChute is another channel. I believe that's kind of like the YouTube of Europe, but I'm not real sure about it. They are a little more free about what you can put there, but in both cases, BitChute or Brighteon, you do get a lot more. Whatever was kicked off of YouTube in the past year, they've migrated to places like that. So you get a little more of this conspiracy theory type things, and once in a while I'll read them up, watch the videos. But for the most part, it's like that's the world we live in. YouTube is more of an entertainment and an educational place, but anything that's controversial, be careful because they might boot you off. Um, again, I don't have anything against YouTube. I just understand that's where they're coming from. Let's see. I've been watching YouTube for months. trying to learn. That was the first place I went to learn about MMS or chlorine dioxide. And I realized really quick, like, boy, they sure have a negative view on it, and only bad videos, negative press showing the weird people or people getting hurt. And yet, if you look on the rest of the web, maybe not even Google, like other browsers, like other search engines, DuckDuckGo, entireweb.com, you'll find that there's a lot more information there on it. And then I started to realize, wait a minute, Google owns YouTube. So I looked into who owns Google, who owns YouTube, and there's several owners. Of course, the people that started it. But I came to realize that the real owners, the power people with YouTube now, not initially, but now, is a group called Vanguard. And Vanguard is, you try and find out about them, not much there. But what I did find out is, as you go higher up on that scale, Vanguard is basically owned by a group of very wealthy investment banker type people. There are some family names I could throw out, but you do your own research, you can find the same ones. But I do want to say that the same people that are a part of that Vanguard group also own a lot of other companies. And what I came to conclude was they also own a lot of medicinal companies, pharmaceutical companies. And so it makes sense that if you have one investment, you don't want it to neutralize your other investment, or even cannibalize it. And in this case, I think that's the issue that goes on with chlorine dioxide MMS. It's a game changer. It basically pulls the plug. It can pull the plug on medical treatments, uh, anywhere from 50 to 80, 90% of what is out there today in our country. In our country, I think other countries are more open to it and using that. So anyway, let me move on. My story though with YouTube is I have a video account, throw out a video here and there, just for fun. But when I was learning about MMS, I put up one video from a doctor out of Peru. She was treating coronavirus patients with MMS, and actually their version of it was a medical version of it called CDS. Anyway, she was treating them with it, and she was having great success. So I thought, that's a great video. I'm going to upload it to my YouTube account because it was in Spanish, and I was going to watch it in English with the subtitles. That's a really cool feature with YouTube. I put it on there, and YouTube, within, I think it was an hour or two, they rejected it. They said, no, this violates our community guidelines. And I was really, I was kind of shocked. I thought, what? It's a Spanish video, and it's a doctor, and then I read a little more deeper on it, and it said that basically anything that conflicts with what the FDA or the CDC or the WHO kind of proclaim or produce, which is very much a vaccine-oriented group. And I'm not an anti-vaxxer or a vaxxer guy. Although the more I study, the more I think, okay, I need to do my homework and understand what's going on. But to sum it up, though, YouTube will not allow that video to be put up. And all it was a conference video where she was giving a presentation. And she's a doctor, So, all right, so I backed away from that. I said, okay, well, I would upload a few other videos here and there. And then I uploaded another one. And this is from a group. And I'm going to put the website here. This is from ComUSAV, COMSAV. Okay, can't spell ComUSAV today. ComUSAV. There we go. Now there's org and then there's com. They're the same group. They own them both. ComUSAV is a group of, and I talked about this in Marcos's video, over 3,000 doctors in about 8 to 12 countries in Central America, most of South America. And it's a coalition. Let me get the English version of it. Oh yeah, that's the English. Okay. And they have courses. They have a video library of their conference reports. Almost every week they come out with a video where different doctors around the Central South America and Europe present on research and cases where they're treating coronavirus with chlorine dioxide, and it's almost 100% success rate. In fact, for the most part, it is 100% success rate. So they have all these videos here that they're presenting, and yet, when we watch our news in our country, we don't get that story. We don't get any of this story. it's all about, how many new people are sick, and then when's the vaccine coming out, and we'll see how things turn out with that. But my point though is I was putting up a video from here because they save their videos on Vimeo. You can look under Vimeo and then CommuSav. I won't look it up now, but you can look at their videos on Vimeo, and these are 2 3 hour videos of presentation after presentation, all in Spanish. But they're just doctors. They're saying, I used it this way. I used it this way. Here's the patient that had, they were obese. Here's the patient high blood pressure. This one had other health issues along with coronavirus, and they treated them, and here's how fast they got better, usually in 4 days or less. So again, I put up a video here from June. It was the June 27th conference. Uploaded it to YouTube, and I got another warning takedown, saying we will not allow you to keep this video up here. I emailed them, or they said you can respond back. And so I responded. I said, look, I'm just putting these up so I can watch them in English with English subtitles. And then I sent that in, and it took about a week or two, and they came back and said, okay, we reviewed your request, and the answer is still no. We will not allow this. Anything that conflicts with whatever community standards and medical information that they go by. And to me, it was. Oh, and they also said, if this happens again, you will get a strike. And as I've only learned about this recently, but a strike with YouTube with your account, you get 3 of them, 3 strikes. And so if you get the second and the third strike, they do what's called deplatform your account. Basically, they pull it and they erase your whatever it is you have with YouTube. And I've got a lot invested in my my Gmail, my Google Cloud account, which is also tied to my YouTube account. But at this point, I realized that when it comes to videos that they don't want, or topics that YouTube doesn't want on their sites, they kind of play hardball. And then I followed other people that were also posted. There's one guy named Mark Brennan. He's a whole story in himself, but he basically started up a church with one of the guys who discovered MMS, and they started the church in I would say mid 2005 or so, 2007. And his whole purpose, he calls it a non-religious church, but their whole purpose was to allow people to take what he calls sacraments. And his point was, look, if we keep getting hassled by the government, by the medical field, some of us are getting arrested and for practicing medicine. And then you get the federal trade agencies, or the ones from each country, saying, well, what are you doing selling this stuff to people? And he's trying to explain, look, it's, for a few dollars, they can get cured for this, get treated for this, and so on and so forth. And they had so much trouble from that they realized, what, if we set up a religion and allow to take our sacraments, and he brings that point up, you have the Catholic Church, which allows adults to hand youth alcoholic beverages, which is their sacrament. It's the Santa Cena, wine, or other religions that have their sacraments. He says, well, let's do that, and then we can be protected by religious law, or the law around the freedom to choose your own religion. Anyway, so his whole point was, that's why we set it up. It's a nonprofit. They do take donations, but you don't pay for things. And so over the past 6 months, maybe 7 months, he has been very hassled, and particularly because of one thing, and that is that he claimed that where's my that chlorine dioxide could be used to treat coronavirus. And for them, it was very offensive to say that, because coronavirus is, he didn't, according to the information I've read, the government does not want them to proclaim anything that might be false or outlandish. So when you type in the Genesis Church, their website, any part of their website, you'll see that it has been taken down by the FDA. And this is the site. It forwards you to the FDA site. And here it shows the grievance filed by the government. And what I think is interesting, it's worth noting here, because it deals with using this as a medicine. Let me see if I can find it here. Okay, here it is. So it's right at the second paragraph down. It shows all the people that they were warning. And then it says the FDA has observed, I don't know if you can read this, that Miracle Mineral Solution for sale in the United States, and that this product is intended to cure, mitigate, treat, prevent, or diagnose coronavirus COVID-19 in people. So that is their key grievance, is that somebody's out selling somebody something and saying, hey, you can, uh, you're telling people lies that this might prevent or what is it, cure? Yep, cure something like coronavirus. And so they have their big flowery language of saying why this is dangerous and all that. And then they shut him down. Now I'll go through a list of what they shut down. First, he was banned from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. He was banned from. He had hundreds of videos up there demonstrating how it works, testimonials from people, just explaining how it works. He even explains how to make it in your own house. And they do, again, their main point was they don't sell it, but they will take donations, and then they can send you a packet of it. His PayPal account was shut down. Western Union was shut down. I believe his bank, he had one or two bank accounts that were frozen. And it got to the point where all he could do, he was selling books. That's the main thing he did sell, books on how to use it, how, some of the background with it, some of the corruption with the government. Oh, and also his book was banned from Amazon. And the only way for a while, he was only able to accept, paper checks for these books. And so, oh yeah, and then lastly, when you did Google him or look up him on YouTube, anything with MMS or him, just complete negative press on it. And so it's almost like he was being not only erased but vilified at the same time. And then that shows the power of social media, news outlets, and even the government. And yet, after all of this, you go back to the CommuSav website, and since about a month or so after, this Genesis 2 church was shut down, all of these doctors come out in Ecuador, Bolivia, Peru. They all start saying, "Hey, this completely works. Not only does it work, but it's 100%, and we're taking it as doctors so that we don't get coronavirus." And so it's an amazing, strange environment. People going to, and his sons, two of them ended up going to jail because they supposedly were selling it in the United States. He's from the U.S., but he now lives in Colombia. Two of his sons were arrested, and so in the end, you have people getting arrested for it, and yet doctors are saying, "Hey, this completely works," and they keep coming out with more and more and more information. And so, in my perspective, I'm thinking, well, this story needs to be told. Maybe not so much into detail for me to talk about Grennan's experience, but the story of what it can do, what MMS can do, needs to be told. And so that's where I started up my channel on Brighteon. Uh, Again, if I'm not logged in here, if you just type in MMS DIY, that's do it yourself DIY. If you type that in, you'll get a series of my videos. And what I'm going to do, well, if you just click on one of them, let's see, here's one where I show how to make your own, what I call the A mix, which is the hydrochloric acid mix. I show you how to make it. If you are interested, though, you can watch all my videos. I have spreadsheets that you can download, and you can also subscribe here. I don't get any payments. There's no monetization on this. I don't sell it. For me, I could try and sell it, but you can sell it only as a water purification kit, which it is. It's a great water purification kit. But I don't sell it. I'm just trying to keep myself separated from the money side of it because I feel like this just needs to be told. This actually needs to be given out free because it's so inexpensive. And so, but that's my whole point. And there will come a time, I think, where this, will be freely given because of what's going on in this world. So moving on, though, let me just summarize again. Here, somebody put a post saying, what is chlorine dioxide? Well, you take hydrochloric acid, 4%, dilute it down, and you mix it with sodium chlorite. These are the chemical compounds, 22.4%, then you get chlorine dioxide. And then you can learn more about it at my channel, which is MMSDIY. And I've never taken a chemistry class, not in high school, not in college. I was a business major, and I took other classes, physical science and things. So I had to learn chemistry from the ground up with this, and it's learnable. I mean, thanks to YouTube and other things, you can always Google, look up how to do this. What does this mean? What does this word mean? And so, don't feel overwhelmed by it. So if you want to learn about everything I've learned and I'm trying to share, you can subscribe. And again, I point out I don't sell it. I just teach about it. Now, I may find something some way where it's useful or helpful for me and others to sell a product. But I'm right now, the big point is just get this out, let the people learn about it and buy their own version of it. I do want to show another thing on my Brighteon channel. And by the way, I'm logging in. By the way, if you go to if I put the link for my channel on this YouTube site, it'll kick it off. It won't let me do it. That's what Marco was experiencing when he was trying to post my link there and he had to set it up. So, but okay, so I'm logged in, but I'm going to show you my playlists. I've got 2 of them, and that's within the channel. Okay, and I'm going to come out with a third one shortly here. The first one is just MMS in the media. As I see things in the news or other things that are interesting online, I will capture the video, post it here. Anything related to chlorine dioxide. I just want people to understand and learn that here's what it can do. There's a lot out there. The only real controversy with it is whether or not it's harmful if you put it in your system, your throat, your stomach. There's even mouthwashes out there. There's a lot of government approved what they call patents on them. I've heard that there were anywhere from 1 to 100,000 patents that are related to it. I'm going to share a video here where it just shows some of the medical patents. I mean, there are patents that just show you can use chlorine dioxide for cancer, for tumors, and that just tells you that the medical industry knows what it is, what it can do, but it's not being taught or easily accessible. Now, this other part, ABCs of MMS, this is where I post all of the how-tos on using, making, and administering with chlorine dioxide. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. Other than I do have a PhD. So my main thing is, well, I can look at research, I can understand it, and hopefully I can condense it to where it's more understandable for anybody to learn about. There are a couple other things I want to show you, and this is probably a good point to bring it up. Let me show you my little lab, how it works. Just if you're wondering, really what I'm looking for is anybody, for me in my case, when I first started learning about this, I got to a point after a few hours of reading and studying on it where I felt like I need to learn as much as I can about this. Almost like I have to learn this. There's something in me that's just, I need to learn it and I need to get knowledgeable about it. And specifically in my case, I need to teach it. I need to teach it to others because this needs to be known. This is good. It will help lots and lots of people. It'll save a lot it'll save, with health, it'll save lives, but it will also save a lot of money and make it so instead of having to go to a central place to go and get help for medicine, you can learn how to do it from your home, along with whatever other methods you use. But I found this to be, much less expensive, faster, more powerful than the medicines that I've used in the past, and it's not what I would call toxic. And toxic, is simple term, is toxic is something that your body doesn't agree with. Um, you're putting things in your body that it doesn't know how to digest, doesn't know how to process, or it's making you feel worse. The side effects are making you feel worse. This has the only side effects that I've found with this are your body kills off a bunch of pathogens and it has to flush out. There are, you get a little bit of diarrhea, a little bit of nausea. And I've had people, maybe sometimes their bodies goes into a little bit of shock just because they have, I know a guy who has skin cancer, or another person, she was just a little hot flashes, things like that. But they're from everything I've read, those are very, very rare. Most common is just a little bit of diarrhea and some nausea there, but it's manageable. So let me show you my lab here. I'm going to change the angle. Okay, I apologize for the shaky camera. Here I'm holding it on a stick. This is a desk. It's on wheels. And I'm sorry, I've dropped some papers there, but everything you see here is what I use to make chlorine dioxide. And I just want to show you, I'll point out a few things, but I just want to give you an idea that this is not some complex laboratory. It's just a knowledge with knowing which chemicals to work with. So bottom floor, I've got my scale. This here is called MMS2, and I've got some videos on it. It's kind of covered up there, but it is something called calcium hypochlorite. When you add it with water, it turns to hypochlorous acid. That's MMS2. I'll show you how to put that in pill form. These are some coffee filters. You have to use the unbleached type because they won't mess with the chemistry when you mix. And all that does is filter out any specks or impurities as you final mix anything. This is a box of the bottles that they come in. Bottles like these drop bottles. This is the B mix. I keep a few things in here. I'm probably ready to throw this one out, order another box for the droppers. Back in the back, it's still in the postal box, but that's my DMSO box. And I talked about what that is in the other videos. DMSO is very good. Well, I won't even go into it now, but here's my 5-pound bag of sodium chlorite. 80%. It's a tech grade. That seems to work fine for me. This costs about $75. This here is muriatic acid, also known as hydrochloric. Am I saying that right? Hydrochloric acid, HCl. I know it's a little dirty. I've had this stored outside, but basically this is the acid that I use. You water it down to a 4%. You mix it with this. Now just these two here, that's enough. It makes enough chlorine dioxide to treat over 100 people for a full year. Now, not just treat them with medicine or a maintenance dose, which I talk about in my videos, but also it provides that 100 people with a gallon a day of purified drinking water. So it just gives you the power of what this can do. And for some people, it took me 2-3 months to wrap my head around this, the simplicity of it and the possibility that it could work. This here, these are my tablets, gel tabs, $1,000 for about $10. And the top, this is where I do my mixing when I show videos or make videos. This is my A and B mix. Here's some extra B mix, sodium chlorite. This is just distilled water. This is a holding bottle for a new video I just made called the mini mix bottle. That one should be coming out in the next couple of days. Another mixing container for putting the drops in. I use this one to mix, and this one here. And these aren't things I didn't buy them new. I actually got them at a secondhand store and then cleaned them up really good. This is some extra A mix. These are the meds that I used to take that I got off of, and I did it about 2-3 days, but I did it by taking this. The dosage is a Protocol 1000, just to help me not have any withdrawals or anything like that, which is really nice. Another container. I do buy plastic bottle tops. These are mason jar type mason used and wash them up real good. Plastic ones they sell at Walmart. Here's a 32 ounce that if you're doing a full day of doses for Protocol 1000, you could put that here and you take about 4 or 5 sips per hour. This is a bottle of colloidal silver that I made. That was one of my early projects. I learned how to make it, bought the materials for it, and keep that one stored just for, I don't know, decoration. Bottled water. So this is basically it for what I have. Total cost of everything that I've shown you, it's probably about $300. And the most expensive things are the sodium chlorite, 75, and then this, there are bottles, 5 bottles in there. That was DMSO. That one costed about $50 too. So everything else was right there, not too much. All right, let me come back to the normal view and then finish things up. All right, so I'm back. Um, Again, thanks to Brother Guerrero about being able to share this. I'm open to answer more email questions. If you do have any questions, feel free to email me at my site. My address is millennialmms at gmail.com. Millennialmms at gmail.com. And I had to learn how to spell millennial correctly. It's two N's and two L's in it, but millennialmms at gmail.com. If you have any questions on that, and let me just reiterate one more time what my goals are here. If I could just get between 10 to 100 or more, maybe 1,000 people who understand how this works and then can turn around and teach others and use it in their lives, I think the truth about this will continue to spread. This is a true, total grassroots movement because in the past, and you could read the books that Jim Humble's written or Mark Grennan's written on this or others, you'll find that if you try and go big with this, it tends to get beat down by those powers that be because you're basically uh, fighting against their cause. You're trying to pull at their bread and butter for income of billions and even $1 trillion a year. And so it's if you just go grassroots, teach people one at a time, then it will get out. This is not the kind of thing where you have to set up a central warehouse, main office hierarchy, and then have expert specialists out that you have to focus on, work with. This is the kind of thing that it can be learned in the home, taught in the home, made in the home, and used in the home. And I think with all the um, home-centered movement that we've had with the gospel and the Church of Jesus Christ, Latter-day Saints, I think this aligns well with that. But we just need to learn how it works, and that's my mission, my goal. I think is just teach it as best as I can, and then of course use it myself and become just test it out, learn more about this. So, lastly, I just want to reiterate my channel at brighteon.com and BitChute. Just type in MMS space DIY. You can learn more, and I'll just end on my own testimony. Um, I I've got emails from other people saying that we get the same vibe, and that is, we need to prepare. We need to prepare, and if we are spiritually prepared, then seeing something like this, it makes more sense. It's more easy to accept and say, yeah, I need to get this ready too. Under $200, and you can have everything you need for your family uh, in terms of what I'm teaching about. And you can take the time after you have acquired the stuff um, to to learn how to use it. And I'll show you that video real quick. It's on my ABCs. I think it's a video Q. Video Q. I call it the bug out bag or the bug out items needed for under $200. But even if you just started there, got your materials and QR, there it is. Bug out, go bag pharmacy supplies with MMS for under $200. That would take care of your family for years. There's years worth of material in there. And if you wanted to add more years to it, all you need to do is buy more sodium chlorite and that those bags I showed you on the bottom, the calcium hypochlorite, which is basically really simple pool shock above 68%. So if you get these things ready, I think it will give you peace of mind. But I also feel like the Lord is telling people, hey, get this ready, get this ready, get this ready, and that's my message with you. Thank you very much, and God bless you.